The Zbruch Idol, believed to have been made during the 9th or 10th century, is one of the most popular images of Slavic paganism today. You have probably seen it in movies and various groups which aim to revive Slavic paganism. It is called the Zbruch Idol because it was discovered in 1848 in the Zbruch River in what is today Ukraine during a drought that made the bottom of the river visible. Back then that was part of the Austrian Empire, and today it is kept in the Archaeological Museum in Krakow in Poland. Since its discovery there is a controversy around it, regarding its authenticity, its relatedness to pre-Christian Slavic cults, and its representation. I'm going to tell you right now, without any hesitation, that there is absolutely no precise answer to these questions. Nevertheless, I will make an analysis of the idol and I will express my opinion at the end of the video. Some scholars believe the idol to have been made in the 19th century, while others disagree. Some consider it to be Slavic while others don't, and its symbolic interpretations vary a lot. The reason why its symbolic interpretations are so various is due to the fact that we don't have any historical narrative or source behind it, so different scholars interpret it in their own way. The reason why we cannot be sure if it belonged to some Slavic tribes is because it was discovered in an unusual way, and we are unable to link it to a specific archaeological culture. And the reason why some doubt its authenticity is because they believe that the idol should have been in a much worse condition considering the circumstances in which it was discovered. Likewise, some believe that it was made by the brother of the man who allegedly found it, because the place of its discovery was on his estate. However, there are innumerable examples where artifacts were discovered by people working on a land that they owned, so this is not really a valid argument. The sculpture is a four-sided pillar topped with four figures under a tall hat. Below it there are three figurative representations in the three-tier arrangement. Three sides of the lowest tier depict a kneeling male bearded figure with raised arms holding the upper levels. On each side of the middle part there is a figure, two of which appear to be female, which leads us to assume that the others are male, and in one case, at the top of the field, a poorly marked miniature figure is depicted. The most diverse are the parts of the uppermost field, below the faces of the figures. On one side there is a standing female figure holding a horn. On the second side is another standing figure, possibly also a female, holding what appears to be a bracelet or a ring. On the third side is a male figure without legs, with a sword at its waist and a horse under it. On the last side there is a male standing figure with an eroded solar symbol on the side. The four faces of the figures don't appear to be very different from each other, and the position of their hands is identical. One reason why the Zbruch idol is considered Slavic is because it was found in an area inhabited by Slavic people during the 9th and 10th centuries. However, the primary reason for this association is its similarity to the Polabian Slavic deity Sventovit, who was primarily worshipped on the island of Rügen in Germany. Sventovit was described as having four heads facing the four cardinal directions, as well as being associated with a horn, sword and a horse. The Zbruch idol also features four faces looking in different directions and shares some of the same attributes as Sventovit, with an additional bracelet attribute. However, unlike Sventovit, the figures on the Zbruch idol are individual, and some, at least one, has been identified as female, indicating that the identification of the idol as Sventovit is inaccurate. According to the interpretation of Boris Tribakov, the Zbruch idol represents several deities from Slavic mythology. The male figure holding a sword and riding a horse is believed to be the god of lightning, Perun. The female figure holding a horn of plenty is identified as Mokosh, while the female figure with the ring is Lada. The male figure with the solar symbol represents the god Dashbog, and the deity of the underworld is identified as Veles. Additionally, Tribakov suggests that the phallic shape of the idol was intended to unite all the smaller figures into a single, all-seeing deity known as Rod. Although some of his interpretations are reasonable, his identification of one figure as Lada and the overall idol as Rod is terribly wrong, because Rod is just an Eastern Slavic mythological figure that appears in late medieval sources, and Lada is not even a goddess at all. In my view, the Zbruch Idol is likely not a 19th century fabrication. While its original Slavic origin cannot be definitely confirmed, there are undeniable similarities between this idol and other Slavic idols featuring four faces found across all three Slavic groups. What I am certain about is that this idol depicts the cosmic axis, the totality of the cosmos, which is why it holds such a profound significance. The three-tier division of the idol reinforces this interpretation, with the lower portion representing the underworld, the middle symbolizing the earth, and the top denoting the sky, a division that is recognized among all pre-Christian European people. Regarding the interpretation of the figures in light of Slavic mythology, my interpretation is in accordance with scholars who associate the figures of the lower tier of the idol with the Slavic deity Veles, known as Triglav or Trojan in his threefold form. As the chthonic god of Slavic mythology, Veles often takes the form of a serpent or dragon with three heads and is an adversary to Perun, the storm and sky god of Slavic mythology. Thus, the presence of a thrice chthonic figure on the bottom tier is consistent with Slavic mythology. The figures on the middle tier, on the other hand, clearly represent the people of the earth, engaged in a circular dance around the transcendent pillar of singularity, a dance that is a common feature among all European cultures. The top tier of the idol poses a more complex challenge for interpretation. I am generally in accordance with the interpretation of Tribakov that the female figure holding the horn of plenty was an image of Mokosh, the Slavic earth goddess, primarily because such an image of the Mother Earth is very archaic and can be traced to the Paleolithic image commonly known as the Venus of Lozel. The identity of the deity represented by the figure holding the bracelet or ring, which is also believed to be female, cannot be determined due to the limited attributes provided and the lack of clarity regarding the object she is holding. In my opinion, the figure with a saber and a horse, represented without legs, is a depiction of the solar deity, possibly Dashbog, rather than the interpretation offered by Tribakov. This is supported by the fact that in pre-Christian Slavic iconography, the sun is often represented by a horse or a solar horseman. The absence of legs can be explained as a stylistic choice to emphasize the symbolism of the solar horseman. In my view, the figure with the six-petal rosette on its side and empty hands is more likely to be Perun, given that this symbol is traditionally associated with him and other Indo-European storm gods. However, it is also possible that the two male figures represent one deity and the two female figures represent one goddess. Despite the ambiguity surrounding the identities of the deities represented by the figures, some aspects are quite evident. The deity depicted in the lower part of the idol is reminiscent of the ancient Greek titan Atlas, as a thrice chthonic deity that upholds the cosmos. Conversely, on the figures of the top part of the idol, we can identify all symbols of a radiant celestial god who is also a patron of war and the mother goddess of abundance and fertility, both of whom are associated with the cardinal points of the cosmos. Regardless whether the idol is authentically associated with Slavic culture, which I personally believe it is, it holds significant value as a repository of a cosmological symbolism. It provides a glimpse into an ancient perspective of the universe as a complex network of interrelated elements conveyed through mythological symbolism, and highlights the importance of preserving harmony between the diverse realms of existence. Whether or not the Zbruch Idol is authentic, it remains a powerful symbol that reflects an archetypal image of the cosmic axis. This image is deeply ingrained in our cultural consciousness and resonates with our ancient traditions. Take, for example, the decoration of a Yule tree, which did not exist as such prior to the 17th century, and yet people believe it to be an age-old custom. But despite its relatively recent origins, it is perfectly in accordance with our tradition as a symbolic representation of the cosmic axis, just like the Zbruch Idol. Thank you for watching this video about the Zbruch Idol and the rich symbolism that it holds. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share it with others who might find it interesting. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to stay updated on future videos. Also, if you are interested in delving deeper into Slavic mythology and folklore, be sure to check out my books, which provide an in-depth analysis and exploration of these fascinating topics. You can find links to purchase them in the description box below. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.